The Socratic Ducky. Again, available for free download at abitoforange.com under free books, or you can get it on paperback at Amazon. The introduction. Philosophy is the handmaiden of theology, or why people like me have to spend so much time explaining things which ought to be obvious to anyone with at least half a dozen brain cells. Unless you're a big geek like me, you might have looked at this book and asked, why is this necessary? Philosophy is for big geeks and old men in ugly suits. Well, right off the bat, I need to correct a misunderstanding. Philosophy is not just for big geeks and old men in ugly suits. For example, the first philosophers were big geeks and old men in ugly togas. Of course, when I say the first philosophers, I mean the first professional philosophers. Spend some time with a toddler, and you will come to see that every person is a born scientist and philosopher. Try to make a teenager do something they don't want to do, and you'll see they're a philosopher and perhaps a lawyer in training. Philosophy is, by definition, the love of wisdom. Education is merely cramming information into your head by the spoonful, but philosophy is the means by which we examine those spoonfuls, and maybe the spoons themselves. From where I sit, philosophy and science are two sides of the same metaphysical nickel. They both involve asking good questions until you learn something useful. It's by asking good questions that the human race has discovered, just to name one example which touches all of our lives, that duct tape can be used in more than 1 million ways. Without philosophy, we'd probably just use it to, tape things together. In Matthew 10:16, Jesus says, "Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves." I'm fairly sure that "in the midst of wolves" was a euphemism for into public middle school, but it may have other meanings as well. Philosophy helps us to think clearly, helps us to examine information. This is something the Bible commands of believers, and it has never been more necessary than today. Everywhere you turn, you find some clever Dan thinking he's proven the Bible to be false. When the roach clowns and social media get a whiff of your faith, they crawl out of the digital woodwork to attack you in your faith with what they think are clever attacks. Often it sounds like a lot of angry second graders fighting over which was the greatest transformer. Pew pew, man. But these poor fools think they've really taken your faith down a peg when they toss out something like the cosmic teapot at you. I have to wonder, has there ever been a Christian who has responded the way these guys want us to? Has anyone ever said, "No, I can't disprove the idea that there is a China teapot orbiting the sun between the Earth and Mars"? Oh no, there is no God. It's all been lies. If you've heard of that deconversion story, send me an email. Take courage, my friends. The Bible is true from the very first page, and you can know that. However, with a little philosophy, you can often dismantle the question before you even look up the answer. It's kind of like going to war and seeing that all of the enemy guns are actually unloaded. There's a lot of noise. You have nothing to be afraid of. Many atheists are actually far cleverer than they are intelligent, and the difference comes in here. Are they pulling a fast one, or are they making sense? Are they trying to distract you or enlighten you? Are they using tricks or handling facts? Consider a salesman. He may talk fast in circles until you are certain that you will never survive another Alaskan winter in your igloo without a deep freezer, but that doesn't mean he's helped you come to the truth. He's mainly trying to get you to part with your money. It takes a lot of clever to be a good salesman, but it takes surprisingly little intelligence. You don't have to know anything about the product or the needs of your customer. You can play on their emotions until they're willing to buy anything from you. Salesmen study emotional manipulation until they can get stupid people to hand over their money and their willingness to think. This is when many salesmen start their own cult or political party. I think this is also the plot of The Music Man starring Robert Preston. Not the part about starting a cult, just the part about making you part with your money while they don't actually know about the product. Look, it's a great musical and you need to watch it. What was the point I was making? Was that the point I was making? Well, it is now, but I digress. The point of this book is to teach you the simple tools it takes to understand the world around you, including the questions and worldviews that'll get thrown at you. I'm going to show you a very simple map of the world which will make sense of things. Things like religions, political ideologies, and weird philosophies. In the end, I'm going to show you how wisdom takes us down the path where we can be confident that the Bible is true from the very first page, and Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. If you can understand a rubber duck, you can understand metaphysics and philosophy, and you won't be alone. Your Rent-A-Friend is here with you every step of the way. Just stick with me, kid, and you'll see that you're a lot smarter than even you suspected. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now, let's see what we can do about getting you into an ugly suit, shall we? You've come at the right time. Buy one today and we throw in a toga absolutely free. Ha ha!
Jesus loves you is the message we send. Thanks for letting me be your Rent-A-Friend. You're listening to Rent-A-Friend Radio.